Thank you very much. So, anyway, the big problem with the Nazis... I thought I'd start off gently, you know. No, the big problem with the Nazis was that they couldn't agree on what uniforms to wear. And if you want to be successful in any endeavour, I think you have to be consistent in the clothing that you use to present yourself to the public. I mean, McDonald's would be a complete shit show if they didn't all wear the same uniform. But it's true. I mean, if you're like me and you sit at home on a Saturday night watching Where the Nazis Went Wrong on More 4, you'll see that they're all wearing different uniforms, right? First you got Hitler. And he's wearing a little sports coat. Now, in fairness, he's in charge. Plus, the man had a temper. So if he wanted to wear a sports coat, I'd probably let him. Then you have the rest of the top brass, and they're wearing what looks like a normal army uniform. And then you have all the SS guys, and they're all wearing black. And then you have the normal army guys that are marching, and they're all wearing these horrible grey uniforms that look like they were stitched together out of old blankets. And that's why whenever you see them marching, they're marching like this. Why the fuck do we have to wear these uniforms? Mine is itchy. They're all fucking itchy. I think they're stitched together out of old blankets. Why couldn't we wear uniforms like the rest of them, like Speer and Bormann and all the top brass? I don't know. There's a lot of us. Maybe they couldn't afford it. What about the SS? I'd love to be in the SS. Well, I'd love to wear black. You'd look great in black. In fairness, black is very slimming. What about the boss? He looks good, doesn't he? Statesman-like, that's what he looks like. He's styled by Hugo Boss, you know. Really? You can tell. Look at the cut of that jacket. I love the way he keeps that little moustache trimmed. You fancy the Fuhrer, you fancy the Fuhrer. Oh, I can't goose step as long as I could when I was younger. Really takes it out. I hope I didn't insult any or offend any Nazis in the audience. Put your hands up if I did. So Valentine's Day, it's nearly Valentine's Day again, yeah? Valentine's Day is very stressful, isn't it? Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've been in a relationship for a couple of years and you're not engaged, and you're wondering, can I knock another year out of this thing without having to pop the question? And meanwhile, every second fucker in the restaurant is down on one knee, and you're shitting yourself that you'll drop your knife and have to bend down to pick it up. And you'll be halfway back up and she'll be doing that little clappy thing. No, I just dropped my knife. The last proper date that I actually had was Valentine's Day 2020. Now, all of that wasn't my fault. Some of it was. And I call it the Valentine's Day Massacre. Because I had a bit of a dilemma on that date. See, I wanted to buy some lingerie as a Valentine's Day present. But I wasn't sure what colour to get. Because she has ginger hair and I was colourblind. So, you know, it's just one of those things, like, I mean, in retrospect, I don't think it was the colour of the lingerie that was the problem. I think it was the fact that I turned up to a first date on Valentine's Day with a bag from Victoria's Secret. I haven't always been disastrous at relationships, though. I've managed to get past the first date on a couple of occasions. I went out with this girl once that was... I'd say, how would you describe it? Prolific dirty talker, I'd say. Would be the best way to describe it. A real industrial level dirty talk. You know what I mean? Not the kind of stuff you see in porn films now. Real proper fucking filth, you know? Now, I've nothing against that. Like, I'm as broad-minded as the next fella. I have no problem with that at all, except for she wanted me to join in. And that was kind of outside my comfort zone. Now, in fairness, I had a lot of dirty things I wanted to do to her, you know? Don't get me wrong, I could have probably drawn pictures of a few of them. But I didn't really have the vocabulary to put them into words. Plus, I'm a bloke, so how the fuck am I going to multitask? And yeah, you're probably thinking, Jesus, you're a right fucking mess, aren't you? I am, yeah, I'm a bit of a mess, but I am trying to improve myself. I do these different things to try and improve myself. I bought some self-help books. And at some stage I'd like to think that I might read them. The Power of Habit, that was one of them. I think that was mostly for nuns though. Who Moved My Cheese, I think that was for students who are sharing a fridge. The one I did read was How to Hypnotise Yourself. Because I thought that might be the way to go. Because I could probably cure everything if I could hypnotise myself, you know. Plus, if I managed, I mean, I'm the most sceptical person for all that bullshit that there is, and if I could hypnotise myself, I could probably hypnotise fucking anybody. And the pervert in me woke up to that straight away. I went, whoa, could be mileage here, you know. I don't know if I ever actually did manage to hypnotise. I think I did, but I might have just fallen asleep. I'm not really 100% sure. I've also thought that maybe going on a spa day, that might be that might be the kind of thing that might cure everything. You know, the full thing, the whole lot, all in, wellness, the whole shebang, right? But I'm not sure that I'm the right demographic for that. You know, if you're booking into a spa, you know, you're signing in, one of those posh ones where they'll park your car for you. You know, and you're looking around, you see all the young, beautiful couples in their matching white, fluffy robes. And you see me sitting on my own in the middle of them, looking maybe homeless. You're thinking, Jesus, is this where they put the homeless people now? Fuck. Jesus, Tarquin, get those keys back. We're fucking, get that Land Rover, we're getting out of here. I went to a dream therapist. I have this really weird recurring dream where myself and my mother are both serial killers. And we've buried all the bodies around our house. But for some reason we buried them standing up. And I'm worried that with global warming and soil erosion and stuff like that, the tops of their heads are going to start showing through. So in the dream, I'm going around with one of those little plastic buckets that you get at the seaside, and I'm just covering the tops of their heads. And I'm telling the dream therapist this, you know, and she's looking at me fairly strangely, as you can imagine. She has a kind of a look that I would describe as both interested and horrified at the same time. And I'm looking at her and thinking, God, I wonder does she think that I just came here, you know, to just kind of confess this stuff, you know? Because she wouldn't be able to tell anyone because of the doctor-patient confidentiality. Fuck. But the more I look at her, the more I'm convinced that that's probably what she thinks. And then I realise she's not a real doctor. There is no doctor-patient confidentiality. So I killed her. So I might not be a serial killer yet, but I think it was Sun Tzu that said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. But my best therapy, the best therapy that I found is to go running. I love to go running, but due to my advanced years and the fact that I was an altar boy for a long time, I have very dodgy knees. So I find that I have to do a lot of stretching and warm up before I go running, you know, and it's cramp that gets me, but cramp runs in my family. My mother was a martyr to the cramp. She was always getting cramp in the most unusual places. Now I don't mean on her body, you know, I mean the unusual circumstances. Like for instance, if you go to a wake, you know the country wakes where you go and the coffin is in the house and everybody goes in twos and they kneel down and they pretend to say a few prayers, bless themselves and go again. You know, and she was always getting cramp in those kind of situations. So I would warn her, I'd say, you know, before we go, do some stretching on the way in or something like that so that they don't get a cramp. But would she listen? No. So anyway, we're kneeling there and I say, Mom, we better go. We hardly knew the man. She goes, I can't get up. What do you mean you can't get up? I can't get up, I've got a cramp. I said, for fuck's sake. I did warn you. I mean, they're going to wonder what, like, they're going to think you had an affair with the man or something. And then she started laughing. And that's never a good thing at a wake either, you know. But yeah, the cramp, I mean, I got cramp during sex once. And the girl that I was with, my girlfriend at the time, she was a few years younger than me. And so I didn't want to let on the head cramp. Because I don't think there's anything that accentuates the age difference in a relationship any more than in the middle of sex going, stop. Could we stop for a second, love? I've got fucking cramp here. So I tried to style it out. So I thought I'd kind of manoeuvre her into a position to help me relieve the cramp, you know. So you know when you're watching a football match and you go to extra time and somebody gets cramp and he lies down on the ground and somebody comes and leans on his foot. So I was trying to get her up on my feet like that, you know. Trying to play out. That was some kind of thing I seen in the Kama Sutra, you know. So now I always stretch before sex, okay? But it's very difficult to work it into the foreplay, you know? Things I'm going to do to you. Oh, wait till I get you upstairs. Oh, it's going to be a night to remember. Oh, I'm going to rock your world. I did warn you that I was crap at talking dirty. I've been Sean Marshall, you've been great, thank you very much.